Come on, Lou.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll be
do.
right back. Don't worry, Bob, whenever.
We gonna wait for Lou, cause we don't have any.
He went to the bathroom, he's coming back, I believe.
Where'd you go, Russ?
Coloration.
Wait, just wait a minute.
Got her.
All I'm looking around and see as many people missing is what we've.
I tell you, man, it's strange, different.
Used to Jim and Bobby being there all the time, just.
Need to call in.
I don't have the number to call to, Deb, you talked to Deb? No,
Talked to her one time.
I tried to call her,
I don't have
I didn't
my-
get an answer. You seen her?
She wants to call me now, so
Uh,
she'll grab it, I'll call her.
Okay.
Lou's off the hook.
yeah, I wanna call her this, you know, just didn't, sympathy to her, hope she can feel better.
Yep, I think she's feeling better, the doctors told her just be,
Take it easy.
just absolutely easy, and nothing strenuous whatsoever. You need a phone number?
She's good.
Right there.
So, you got it? Uh-oh.
That's a, I'll pull it up here sometime.
Yeah, it's on the board tag.
It's kind of an old one.
Access code or phone number you have dialed is incorrect. Please, your. Welcome to the Prince Edward County Conference Line. Please stand by, you'll be joined in shortly.
The time has arrived for us to open our specially called meeting. At this time, would I ask everybody to please rise for a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, before we get started on the agenda, I would like to welcome our representative of District 2, the Lockett District, Miss Carol Red Stiff. Carol, welcome, and we're happy that you're here with us. Thank you so much.
And thank you all very much, and I am very humbled and happy to be here with you all as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Stiff. At this time, I would like to make a motion that we convene in closed session for discussion and consideration of the applications for the appointment to fill District 7 seat on the Board of Supervisors pursuant to the exemptions provided for in Section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia. All of those approved say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No. So we will go into closed session.
Mr. Crowd, before we do, let me get, I'm gonna second that motion.
I don't like that.
All right.
Okay, returning to closed session. Whereas the Prince Edward County Board of Supervisors has convened a closed session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.23712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the board that such closed session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements of Virginia law were discussed in closed session to which this certification resolution applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the board. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Any member who believes that there was a departure from the requirements of clauses 1 and 2 shall state the substance of the departure that in his or her judgment has taken place. Could we have a roll call? Patty?
No.
Dr. Pride? No. Mr. Gillum?
No.
Ms. Stiff?
No.
Mr. Townsend?
No.
Mr. Emmert?
No.
Okay? So move. We're now in regular session.
Who made the motion to come out?
Ms.
of
Pride made the
closed
motion to
session?
come out.
Pride.
Right,
Which,
To come out of closed session, that was a certification.
right.
That's-
But I
there's
also
two
made the
separate
motion.
motions.
There's two motions.
I
Right.
made,
One to
I made
come
the
out.
motion in there to go back into open session.
And who seconded?
I can't answer that.
I'll second
Good?
Okay,
You can take a regular vote on that.
Yeah.
okay. Everybody agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
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 Okay. Motion approved. Okay.
Motion in first.
At this time, we are ready to decide on the District 7 board vacancy. And it was decided that we would choose an individual. So are we ready to vote at this time?
Yes.
Ms. Patty Cooper, we'll start with you.
Cannon Watson.
Okay. Odessa Pride, Cannon Watson, Lou,
Cannon Watson.
Ms. Stiff,
Cameron Watson.
Jerry,
Davis.
and David.
Ken Watson.
Okay. Okay. The vote is 5-1.
5-1.
So Mr. Cannon Watson is the candidate chosen for District 7 board vacancy. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on with comments for District 1 board vacancy, Mr. Stanley.
Madam Chair, members of the board, as the board is aware, District 1 Supervisor Beverly M. Booth has tendered her resignation for the board effective July 5th at 9 a.m. for health reasons. If the board wishes to fill the vacancy for the District 1 Farmville board seat, the Code of Virginia requires that a petition for a special election be filed with the circuit court within 15 days of the creation of the vacancy, or by July 20th. The appointment to fill the vacancy until the special election can be held must be made within 45 days by August 19. Supervisor Booth's term would have ended December 31st, 2023. The individual elected in the special election for District 1 will serve until December 31 of 2023 and is then eligible to run for re-election if they choose. In order to file a petition with the circuit court, it requires a motion and an affirmative vote of the Board of Supervisors to request a special election to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Supervisor Booth and to conduct the special election with the general election on November 8, 2022. Thirdly, it requires the county attorney to prepare and file with the circuit court a petition for a special election that sets forth those facts, as well as prepare a writ of election to be endorsed by the judge and entered as an order of the court. The board may appoint someone to fill the vacancy in the interim. If a majority of the remaining members of the board cannot agree or do not act, the judges of the circuit court of the county may make that appointment. If agreeable, I would ask that the board authorize county staff advertise for applicants for the interim appointment. We would probably try to have the deadline be the last week of July, and the board possibly consider a special meeting the first week of August to make an appointment. That way, that first meeting in August, that individual chosen would be able to sit in that August meeting.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we ask the county to go ahead and advertise for this vacancy.
Second.
Okay, it's, a motion has been made and second.
Madam Chair, before, can I also ask the maker of the motion that they would include authorizing the county attorney to file a petition and see a writ of election from the Prince Edward County Circuit Court for a special election to be held on November 8, 2022.
I'd like to amend that motion to include this.
And to set the deadline.
And to set the deadline, that's correct.
July the 29th
July
at
29th.
4 p.m.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and second that the Board of Supervisors requests a special election to be held to fill a vacancy on the Board of Supervisors for District 1, Farmville, and that the special election will be held in conjunction with the general election on November 8th, 2022, to authorize the county attorney to fill the position and see a writ of election from the Prince Edward County Circuit Court for a special election to be held on November 8th, 2022, and that the board authorize county staff to advertise for applicants for an interim appointment to the District 1 seat, and added to that to include Terry to do all of the legal requirements. All of those in favor? Patty?
Aye.
Pride? Aye. Lou?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
David? So, motion approved.
Madam Chair, would you like to go ahead and set that special meeting for the first week of August while all the board members are present? Or I'm happy to call all of you next week.
Would y'all prefer that Sarah calls us, or do we want to look at it now?
Either way, whatever's convenient is works.
Let's let Sarah call, we'll look at the dates, and she will notify me, and then we'll make sure everybody knows.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you.
start with August the 2nd, which is a Tuesday. I think this would probably be.
I won't be here.
You will not? Okay. well, that
First to
helps.
the third, I won't be here.
How's August the 4th?
Which is a
Thursday.
That's the first Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
What time? I have a 7 o'clock meeting.
We could do it at like 5:30 and be done.
Here in town,
Your meeting is about the appointment of District 7, so pending a tremendous number of applicants, I would think it would not be
I can do that at 5:30, and just if I can get to another meeting, won't be a problem. It's right here in town.
5:30.
So everybody's in agreement with 5:30?
Yes.
August 4th?
Because that works for me, yes. August 4th. Okay, thank you much. So August 4th for that special meeting. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Shanley, do we move to item 6 and come back to 5?
We can do that. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Okay. You know, if anybody tried to check the Zoom.
I'm gonna want to do this closed session motion first.
What she said, 5:30?
5:30. Yes, sir.
We'll get you a notice out too.
Yeah, please do. Before I get home.
We're trying to bring our attorney online from Little Virginia.
Hey, do we have something at the school board? Something popped up and said Board of Supervisors meeting middle school Thursday, August 4th. I don't know where I got that. I don't know where I got that from. See if I can get rid of it.
I don't want to pay for her to drive to Little Virginia. Okay.
Okay, item 6 addresses PPEA project interim agreement, the authorized public hearing, and a public input period. Mr. Stanley.
There's Tom and Sharon. Sharon, Tom, can you hear us? All right, hold on. You- We can't bring him in on that? Hold on. Hold on, Madam Chairman. Can you, what's that number again? You got that picture again? Okay.
Just a second.
Hold on,
It's
Sharon.
got it in her 19th packet too.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's on the other.
The 19th, packet for the
Give me
19th.
that packet right
Yeah.
there.
Not this.
No, the white notebook.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here we go.
Nope.
844. Access code.
All right, hold on. Let me see here. Tom and Sharon, hold on a second.
Is that okay?
Here, these.
My email won't send. Let's try this. Sharon and Tom, I'm going to give you a telephone number and an access code to call in. Telephone number is 1-844-890-7777. It'll prompt you for an access code, which is 390323.
313.
313. 390313. 844-890-7777. Access code 390313. And while they're doing that, I'll go ahead and do the intro, Madam Chair. So December 9, 2021, the Prince Edward County Board of Supervisors accepted the unsolicited proposal of Prince Edward County Infrastructure LLC, or PECI, for the design and construction of a water system serving the county. The board made a determination to use competitive negotiations, selecting a contractor and authorized the county administrator to post the non-confidential portions of the proposal and advertise for the receipt of competing proposals for a period of not less than 45 days. The county ultimately received no competing proposals. Since that time, county staff and our selected consultants have been negotiating an interim agreement with Prince Edward County Infrastructure, or PECI, for the development, design, and construction of the water treatment plant and distribution system consistent with the design builder's proposal and the county's guidelines and procedures concerning the Public-Private Education Facilities and Infrastructure Act of 2002 as adopted by the county on July 8, 2008. Pursuant to Section 9C of the county's guidelines, 30 days prior to entering into an interim agreement, the county shall provide an opportunity for public comment. Such public comment shall include a public hearing to be held by the Board of Supervisors. Staff has considered the proposal and has determined in the interest of developing a water supply system, it is in the best interest of the county to proceed and establish the 30-day period for public comment. The draft interim agreement has been reviewed vigorously by our PPA legal counsel, which is Sharon Pandak, who's on the call tonight from Pandak and Taves PLLC, and our engineering consultant, Tom Frederick from Panoni Engineering. Based on their input, a number of changes have been made to the agreement. As currently written, the county would be responsible for up to $1 million of design costs of the project if the project does not move forward to construction. One of the issues with the 2009 project effort was the concern that the county spent over $2 million with Crowder Construction to advance the PPA before that project was halted. Not all of the work back in 2009 was deemed throwaway, and that ultimately, I think, has given us a basis with the current project effort. We have worked to try to limit the exposure to the extent possible for the county on this latest effort, kind of balancing that with the need to keep moving forward with the design to meet the schedule of the Department of General Services, which is to bring a water supply to the 3 state facilities in Nottaway within a 3-year timeframe. Joe Hines from Timmons, who is part of WECI, is here this evening. And Joe, do you want to fill in any gaps that I may have left behind? Or at least stress we're trying to keep limit the cost exposure to the county, but we're also trying to maintain the timeframes and keep the project moving.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Doug. You need to get that.
Yeah. Sharon and Tom, are you on the call?
I'm on the call, Doug.
Thanks, Sharon.
Yes, Doug.
Thanks, Tom.
Sure, no, thank you, Doug, and appreciate the comments. You're correct that the $2 million that was spent back in, I guess, 2010, 2011 timeframe was not all lost. We've been able to use some of that data to help advance the project to the point that we could put in a credible design build proposal, which the state viewed as reasonable to be able to get the project done within a 3-year period. One basic element that is in place today that was not in place then was the fact that we do have a memorandum of agreement with the Department of General Services. We have a very defined demand. They are continuing to expand their facilities, and they've given us, I think, 30-year projection numbers to up to 1 million gallons a day of water that they would need. That is one element of it all, as far as that's concerned. So there is pretty minimal risk in terms of, you have a partner on today that you didn't have in 2010, 2011 when this was first proposed. So that's a critical link to it. The other thing we've done is we've accounted for economic development opportunities within the water withdrawal application as well too. I work across the state and across the southeast. I'm going to be in South Carolina next week for a series of meetings with clients. But water is kind of the new gold. It's a fundamental building block in a successful community, successful economic development effort. As I mentioned to you before, there are 25 reservoirs like this in Virginia. They're water supply reservoirs out of 134 localities. So it's not a rarity, but it's not a common thing. The majority of them do not have reservoirs like this. So it is a very unique asset in Prince Edward County that you need to leverage for your long-term benefit as far as that is concerned. Part of this process, a little sidebar commentary, one element I want to touch on regarding economic development and why this is important. We are literally seeing multi-billion-dollar projects come across our desk on a weekly basis for clients. I had a call with my team today, and I can't give you the exact number, but right now our current client list has over $20 billion in active projects with over 10,000 jobs. Lego was one of our client sites. That was a $1 billion investment, 1,760 jobs. If the HIT Park were a little bit bigger, it very well could have fit on that particular site, but that was their first U.S. investment. And so Virginia has got a lot of momentum now. The administration is very focused on landing these multi-billion-dollar jobs, or multi-billion-dollar investments, multi-billion-dollar jobs. One example that I want to use, and this is in regards to the fact that you're going to be partnering somewhat with Nottaway County and the state facilities over there. It allows for the opportunity for regional efforts as well too. Rivian, which is essentially a competitor of Tesla, announced a $5 billion plant, 7,500 jobs east of Atlanta, about 45 minutes east of Atlanta. The site literally was split in half, 2,000-acre site by two localities, one county on one side, one county on the other. And it was within 5 or 10 minutes distance from downtown Atlanta as if you were to look at the Burkeville Crew area from downtown Richmond. So that's significant of this, and they have a 4.7 million gallon a day water demand. So the stakes are high, the state realizes that, and that's helpful in terms of building out a funding applications moving forward with the project. Going back to the design build process, this is an interim agreement, it's a two-step process. Part of what we're doing is we're taking the unknowns that we have, how much rock do we have along a route, what do we need to figure out to basically finalize what's going to be a good cost estimate or a reliable cost estimate to enter into the next stage, which is a comprehensive agreement. And I'm sure Ms. Pandek and Mr. Frederick can offer their comments on that. But that's part of what we're doing here. Normally, for these types of projects, this is usually $1 million is just kind of the entry point for that. We have signed them in multi-million-dollar range up to $4 or $5 million range for these services and projects this size, but we were trying to respect the county's limit for exposure and try to remove all those items that have long lead times that would get in the way of timing of the design, but have the lowest costs associated with them that identify the biggest risk elements. We're trying to get those out of the way with this interim agreement in a lower cost fashion than what we normally see in other interim agreements. For those of you who aren't, and Ms. Steph, I know that you're new here, part of the design build team is made up of Mid-Eastern builders. Their founder, George Clark, is actually a Cambridge, Virginia native. His father was the founder of Cambridge Construction. So he has very strong local ties here as well as Faulkner Construction based out of Charlottesville, Virginia. They've done a bunch of work at Longwood and whatnot. The other team member we have is former delegate and Secretary of Natural Resources, Preston Bryant. He served under Governor Kane, now Senator Kane. And Preston is helping us to identify potential funding sources, grant sources to pursue. As Doug noted, we have applied for a number of grants. Obviously, as we're heading down this road, we're going to be diligent and put as much effort forward to go after as much grant money as possible to help offset some of these costs as we're going through this process. So with that being said, I don't have any further comments. I'm more than glad to comment on the scope of what Timmons is planning on doing and what Faulkner and Revere planning on doing. And I'll allow Mrs. Pandek and Mr. Frederick to offer their comments on behalf of legal and Mr. Frederick's engineering review as well too. So I'm open to any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Sharon, would you like to offer any comments?
I would, and I'll just be brief. I think that probably, Mr. Stanley, you got a phone call, so I couldn't see you roll your eyes as I talked about how I've tried to reduce risk with respect to this interim agreement. And all of what you've covered in your opening comments are what I attempted to make sure was solidified in the opening agreement. And excuse me, in the interim agreement, that work is based on my prior experience with PPEA, Prince William, Dr. and also my work on design, building, construction, projects. I'd be glad to answer any questions, but I think the board benefit Mr. Frederick related to detail with respect to the work that will be accomplished in the interim.
Thank you, Sharon. Tom, from an engineering perspective, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak, and would like to inform the board that we will retain to review PEA document, including all the technical criteria that was put in that report. We also checked references of the PPEA firm. We got good feedback. We believe technically the proposal is sound. An obvious key element in the success of the project is going to be removing total organic carbon from the water that's in the reservoir. And the design build team has a good handle on what needs to be done to make sure that the appropriate treatment is provided. Also, in reviewing this interim agreement, we focus on making sure that the county has the necessary cost estimates to the degree that minimizes risk and also promotes the most options for the county so that it dovetails with the financial review that Davenport will be doing for you to make sure that you have not just a technically sound project, but also a financially sound project.
Thank you, Tom. Madam Chair, again, all we're doing tonight is authorizing the advertisement for this comment period. And we'll have to make, a decision to approve the agreement if that's the desire of the board after that time period. I know the state is anxiously awaiting us to keep the project moving, so I would respectfully request that we do that tonight to advertise for hearing. We've set a possible hearing date in the motion of August the 23rd, looking at our calendars. I would just say, let's look. It really, because of the timing of the ad next week, it can't be any sooner. It could be pushed, to the following week if we had to, but that's the fourth Tuesday, I believe, in August.
I make a motion that we, that the Board of Supervisors accept the interim agreement for the purpose of posting for the 30-day comment period and to authorize a public hearing to receive the public comment on the interim agreement for August 23rd, 2022 in accordance with the county PPEA guidelines.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded by the Board of Supervisors to accept the interim agreement for the purposes of posting for the 30-day comment period and to authorize a public hearing to receive public comment on the interim agreement for August 23rd, 2022 in accordance with the county's PPEA guidelines. We vote Patty.
Yes.
Odessa, yes. Lou.
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
Roy.
I got a question for Joe first. Is Nottaway on board with this? Not a Blackstone or Nottaway?
No, so, the town of Burkeville passed a resolution Tuesday night.
I apologize, Madam Chair.
Yeah, they passed a resolution Tuesday night, supporting the project. I know that the state has been talking with Nottaway, and has a series of meetings set up with them to get them formally approved, move forward formally approved in Prince Edward County, with the state building line in Prince Edward County operating.
And we talk about the connect at the line, on our line,
Yeah, the state would build the pipeline to the Prince Edward County
County.
highway line.
And they-
We would connect, yes.
Okay.
So, the state's full steam ahead on that, project, and they're going through the checking boxes with Nottaway County, and I know, like I said, the town of Burkeville passed a resolution on Tuesday night, in support of the project and granting permission to do all the work within their town limits where their jurisdiction is.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, thank you. No, Mr. Townsend, I wanted to say, I was wondering the same thing. So, I appreciate you for bringing up that question. Okay, motion has been made and approved. Thank you so much.
Tom, Sharon, thank you very much for being on the line, and y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll move back to item 5. And Sarah, do you have that? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
David,
While Sarah's passing that out, I move that the Prince Edward County Board of Supervisors convene in closed session for consultation with and a briefing by the county administrator and county attorney pertaining to pending litigation related to the appeal of the decision of the Board of Zoning Appeals in the Bowman matter, where such briefing in an open meeting would adversely affect the litigating posture of the county pursuant to the exemption provided for in section 2.2-3711A7 of the Code of Virginia.
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and second that we move into second. Patty?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Roy,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Okay, so move. Closed session.
Go this way.
Yeah, we going out.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Ooh.
17, David, if you can get there.
I just went completely. Madam Chair, I make a motion that we come out of closed session and come back into open session.
Just second that.
Okay, it's been motion second that we come out of closed session. Patty?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And Odessa, yes. Whereas the Prince Edward County Board of Supervisors has convened a closed session on this date pursuing to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.23712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the board that such closed session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements of Virginia law were discussed in closed session in which this certification resolution applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the board. Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Second. Okay, any member who believes that there was a departure from the requirements of clauses and shall state the substance of the departure that in his judgment has taken place. Patty?
No.
Odessa? No. Lou?
No.
Carol?
No.
Roy?
No.
David?
No.
Okay, so moved. Motion passed. We are back in open session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion, the Board of Supervisors direct legal counsel to file and pursue an appeal to Prince Edward County Circuit Court of the June 21st, 2022 decision by the Board of Zoning Appeals in the Bowman Matter.
Second.
Okay, it's a motion and second that the Board of Supervisors direct legal counsel to file and pursue an appeal to the Prince Edward County Circuit Court, the June 21st, 2022 decision of the Board of Zoning Appeals in the Bowman matter. Patty?
Yes.
Lou?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Odessa, yes. So moved. Okay. We ready to adjourn? Okay. May we have a motion to adjourn or recess?
Good adjourn.
Okay.
Yep. Because we got the meeting scheduled for next week anyway, so.
Okay.
So, Properties is at
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Tuesday.
Mhm.
Personnel is at
3:15
3:15 Monday.
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 So have a motion to adjourn?
Regular
So
meeting
moved.
7.
Second.
Patty?
Meeting is
Yes.
at 7.
Odessa, yes. Lou?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
So moved. Everybody have a safe evening.
All right.